Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
You're looking at one of the most distinctive prizes in golf. Whose name will be engraved on this work of modern art this afternoon? We'll find out. Welcome to the 26th Trophée Lancôme from Saint-Nom-la-Bretèche on the western outskirts of Paris. And the Volvo Tour once again enjoying the splendours of nearby Versailles. The course, a testing par 70, made even harder by blustery conditions over the first 3 days. That made much difference to Colin Montgomerie. First round 64, and yesterday the final kick back for a 65. So Montgomerie turning a one-shot deficit at the start of the day into a three-shot lead over his great friend and rival for the #1 spot in the Volvo Order of Merit, Sam Torrance. Important day also for the likes of Bernhard Langer and Jose Maria Olazabal, looking to confirm fitness for the forthcoming Ryder Cup. Well, conditions today a lot kinder than the first 3 days. The wind has swung round almost at 180 degrees. It's a lot softer as well, just a gentle breeze rather than the near gale we had at times, certainly on Thursday. And this is Colin Montgomerie in a little bit of trouble at the first. This is for his par, and Montgomerie for the second time this week bogeys the first, and just opens the door slightly to his rivals. Now Sam Torrance at the second play in 3, so Torrance and Montgomerie playing with Wayne Riley, the 3 leaders. Torrance open with a par and now a birdie at the second, and suddenly the gap is down to just 1. How quickly it can change. Sam Torrance 30,000 behind Colin Montgomerie in the money list, trying to be #1 for the first time ever in his long and often illustrious career. This for par at the third, and no sooner had he gained a shot than he gave it back. The lead back now to 2. Sam knowing he can't afford too many mistakes. Sam encouraged by Colin Montgomerie's performance at the 4th. This is 3rd shot. 432 yards. And just failing to grip the green, and that would lead to a second bogey in 4 holes. Now Ivan Rojan, I bet you're pleased to see him in Norway. Going well, reached the turn in 31. There he is at the 11th. Man from Oslo, former Norwegian Open champion. So early problems for Colin Montgomerie with the 2 drop shots. This was his putt for birdie at the par 4 5th, a much shorter hole, 375 yards. That will no doubt settle nerves, even the greats. A few butterflies on the final day. On to the 6th. Again, a par 4, much longer this one, 451 yards, but again, Montgomerie putting for a birdie. And well, the door was opened over the first 4 holes, but successive birdies at 5 and 6 as he shut it again. The lead back to 3. Tom Lehman, though, going well. The American Ryder Cup player in his first Lancôme appearance. Began the day at 4 under. Now he's 2 under for the day. Now the 23-year-old Norwegian tied second in the rain-affected Cannes Open. But he's not without his supporters. First year on the tour, and he's already done enough to comfortably keep his card. Now Mike Clayton's having one of those very special rounds. He's 8 under for the day. He's 2 pars to equal the course record. This leaving needing par for a 61, so he needs a birdie at the last for £3,000 from Johnny Walker, and a par will get him a gold Rolex watch. That's for the low round of the week. Already on Friday a 62 from Jean-Louis Guepi, but a much better back 9 so far from Clayton. a par, and he'll be back in 29. He'll win that watch on the best back nine. Top of the leaderboard though, Colin Montgomerie, after 7 holes, leading by 3. Tom Lehman back into the picture, or up into the picture. Rojan going well, and good performances so far today from Bernhard Langer and David Guilford as they begin the warm-up for the Ryder Cup. Of course, undulating, a mixture of the blue and the red courses here that the members use. The first 7 holes from the blue course, the last 11 are normally part of the red course. In fact, the back 9 is the opening 9 on the red. So here he is at the 9th hole on the red, which is the 8th in the Trophée Lancôme course. But this is a big putt for Mike Clayton. This is for par. This is for the Rolex. Oh, and he's missed it by a second hand. So the 63 is an excellent round of golf. He's back with the orthodox length putter. For a while, he's had hard his luck with the long handle, but so close to a really special round. Now, Colin Montgomerie in a little bit of trouble at the 8th, the par 5. Awkward stance you can see below his feet. Get this ball up and get it running towards the hole. And that will do. I think his short game hasn't been that exposed in recent weeks. He's been playing so well. Went into this round 79 under par since the Open Championship. Now, what a Seve Ballesteros missed the cut at Grand-sur-Ciel last week in the Canon European Masters. Finding a little bit of form this week. And, you know, I think that's encouraging, the fact that he looks angry, looks annoyed rather than just resigned. It shows that Seve's expecting to hold those again. Round of 67 and 73 and then a 70. And he's 2 under for today. Now Sam Torrance at the 8th. I can tell you that Tom Lehman was already made eagle at this hole to close to within 1 shot of the Scot. Lehman 4 under for the day. It's the kind of day when par 70, but it's a much kinder than the first 3 days, and unless you're shooting around 68, maybe 67, 69, you're going to feel that you haven't played that well. And, unless you're shooting a 68, I think people will be going past you. Certainly as far as the top half of the field are concerned. All that after a day, 2 days when the cut came at 6 over. Big swing on that one for Sam. Not unduly cold, but the Parisian Society out to watch Le Golf. And Torrance for his second birdie in 4 attempts on this 8th hole. 509 yards into the breeze today. She's just getting up a little. There's a hint of rain in the air. We've this morning had 1 or 2 light showers, and I think we may have 1 or 2 more. No advantage for Torrance because surely Montgomerie will also make a 4. Wayne Riley, by the way, dropping shots at the 2 short holes, the 3rd and the 7th. So Colin Montgomerie still in command, in control. 3 shots to the advantage, and Sam Torrance 1 under for the day, 2 ahead of the American Tom Lehman. Ivan Rojan looking for perhaps his biggest check. This is a £600,000 tournament. Langer and Guilford making progress. And Clayton's round of 63, the round of the day so far, putting the Australian into the top 10. Our first view this week of the short 9th. Only 374 yards. Just to the left of the picture is the island that separates the 9th and the 18th greens. And you can see not an awkward one for Monty. He's a little bit left off the tee. He's got to go in over the water. Not sure if he can afford to go for the pin. Maybe to the right hand side would be the wise option. And he's gone too far right. This is the hole where David Carter yesterday holed a sand iron for an eagle 2. No lucky sweater this week for Monty on the final day. Maybe he thinks that his golf is precluding the need for any sort of good fortune. Now let's take a look at Jose Maria Olazabal. Big day for Jose Maria tomorrow. I'm expecting an announcement at Wentworth midday. Will he play in the Ryder Cup or won't he? A really low round that today might have helped. Began the day at 2 under. And Montgomerie at the 9th. Second hole in a row, he's had to come up and down out of sand. Well, left himself rather more to do this time, hasn't he? It would be annoying to drop a shot at the 9th, although he did drop a shot here on Thursday in that opening 64, would you believe? Now Lehman, second into the 10th, 364 yards, cut right side. And it's going back the opposite way to the 9th, so slightly downwind. It's a super shot. Well, all year long we've had Americans coming over onto the Volvo Tour and striking blows. Could Lehman be the latest? See, Sam Torrance, his method of chipping is a little, he's almost chipping like he putts. Almost with the leading edge, and it's working very well for him. He, I suppose, too, will be disappointed to have missed this night. It really is only a drive and a flick for these players. Now Langer to save his par at the 11th. Well, that would have been his first bogey of the weekend had he missed. Just one birdie in a 17 pars yesterday, and he's yet to drop a shot today. More the Bernhard Langer that we expect to see. Format he's been only averaged by his own incredibly high standards. New lighter grip on the club when he's putting. A third bogey. So a rather mixed bag for Colin Montgomerie. 3 bogeys and 3 birdies to the turn. He's still in the lead, but only by 2. Listen to this hole that Paul Broadhurst had his first par with all bogeys and 4 birdies, 4 bogeys until here when he made a 4 a little bit earlier. A couple of matches ahead. You can see the view down on the 9th, and behind it the tent where the first tee we set off. 10th tee and beyond that the first tee. Now Riley for a birdie to be out in 36. Both halves par 35. Pushed that one. A chance gone and out in 37. Sam Torrance makes this one and only trails by 2. He will have pulled one back at the halfway stage, and he will feel that he's not done that badly overall. Always so reliable from this length, and yet another one hold. And Torrance to the turn in 34. And he's still got Colin Montgomerie in his sights. Montgomerie only level par for the day, leads by 2 from Sam Torrance, who in turn leads by 2 from Tom Lehman. Bernhard Langer and David Guilford moving through the ranks. Wayne Riley wasting the chance to join Øyvind Rojan and Stephen Richardson on 4 under when he missed the birdie putt at 9. Mike Clayton, round of the day so far, is 63. Mathias Grönberg, winner in Kronstås last week, still going well. Michael Jonsson, who's having a purple patch the last few weeks, and Olaf Fabel, 2 under through 11. Debbie Ballesteros slipping back to level par after 13 holes. We'll be back with more from San Nom after the break. Welcome back, San Nom La Bretèche, the final round of the 26th Trophée Lancôme. And the leaders on the homeward half now. Colin Montgomerie still leading by 2 after 12 holes. Both he and Sam Torrance dropping a shot on the early part of the back 9. Tom Lehman just 1 shot behind now. David Guilford continues to make progress. Here's Colin Montgomerie at the 13th, looking for a repeat of Friday's birdie. 388 yards. Uphill, dogleg from right to left and left-hand side, and that's just about perfect from Montgomerie. Let's take a look at the hole. That bunker doesn't really come into play for these players, but the problem is the trees on the right. You run out of fairway just 256 yards, so perhaps not a hole unless you can draw the ball to take a driver. Keep it in play, of course, and you've only got around about 100 yards to the pin, which today is cut 32 yards on. 5 left side, so back left side. It's a level green, and we're on the top tier. The green slopes fairly fiercely from right to left. And Torrance, not sure that was a driver, but in the perfect place. Looking for his 3rd win of the year. 15 on a Tharbel. Slip back to level par. And a bogey at 12 and at 14. And struggling to save par at 15.
Basically, middle of the tower.
Peter Coleman giving the line to Bernhard Langer at 15. It's a semi-blind shot. You can't see the bottom of the pin. The pin is 24 yards on, so well onto the green. Just not sure how it's going. It looks to be lying not that great in the rough. Put it up fairly quickly. What breeze there is behind. That's a perfect shot. Well, even got some sort of spin on it as well. And Langer, who's, as I say, form has only been average of late. Not been in contention his last 4 tournaments and missed the US PGA. 4th in the Volvo Order of Merit, 33 wins, 2 of those this year. Of course, the Deutsche Bank in Hamburg and the Volvo PGA. And a 2nd place in the BMW, but since then, not much has happened. He's been struggling with his back and his swing a little, as has this man, David Guilford, reputably. You wouldn't notice today. Very quick putt. Wayne Riley, trouble at the par 3s today, just dropped a shot again at the 12th. That's all 3 par 4s he's bogeyed. Well, he's never dull. Difficult when he's so far behind now that everybody wants to see Torrance and Montgomerie get into position, and sometimes they're moving when Wayne's trying to play. There's a certain style about the way he discards his clubs even. That wasn't so bad. Most people would be reasonably pleased with that. But Scottish Open champion setting his standards high. Sam Torrance, good drive with the 3-wood. Maybe just an 8 or 9 iron in. spin too far. Talking yesterday when he was saying hello to his eldest son Daniel, didn't know the name of his baby daughter. Check this morning with Sam, it's Anushka.
Right, Ralph, you come right on beside this marshal, please. Thank you.
Montgomerie longest of all off the tee. These folks no more on their time. On the top tier, but that's a very quick putt downhill and from right to left, not the side you want to be, where Sam Torrance was really, giving yourself an uphill putt. And just signs that Colin Montgomerie, who's been superb in recent weeks from tee to green, that perhaps he just lost a little bit of the touch. Sometimes it just goes momentarily. You can't keep that level of perfection for forever. Be 3 bogeys in 4 holes for Farble. Just the 1 birdie so far. That was at the 8th, but he dropped the shot before that at the 7th. So on those testing days, I think he will pronounce himself fit enough to play for the European team, but we won't know until midday Wentworth Monday. A little bit tentative from David Gilbert, but in it goes. Started at 2 under, so he's 4 under for today and going well.
No cameras, please.
You can see how still the trees are today compared with the previous 3 days. That's really why scoring's better. Players weren't sure before, because the wind wasn't consistent, it was gusting and it was difficult to get the ball consistently near the pin. Montgomerie, you know, since the Open Championship where he missed the cut, this is his 6th event, so his 24th round of golf since then, and previous 23. 79 under par. But in previous weeks he really was hitting his irons very close indeed. Not really the case this week, partly the conditions, but of course his putting, which he'd been moaning about for some weeks, has been very, very solid. Particularly from this length. I don't think he's ever been a bad putter from 30-40 feet. See how fast it is and how it starts to swing. Steers at the 16th, the par 5 was reachable in 2. The first 3 days, strong wind behind. Now into what breeze there is. A wonderful touch around the green still from Seve Ballesteros. That should be good enough for a second birdie. This putt for Wayne Riley is straight downhill. If he hits it too hard, he'll need a parachute to stop it. Ninth in the Volvo Order of Merit. Best season of his career by some distance. set that on his way. That's a lovely touch. This is an easier putt for Sam Torrance because it is reasonably straight, and uphill he can have a go at this, but he doesn't want to be too far past, doesn't want a downhill putt coming back. Oh, just a tad of swing on it. Lucky he struck it very well. He thought he had a chance. Mind you, he looked out of it yesterday and came back strongly with an eagle at 16, birdie at 17. Lehman's still 8 under. Second into the 14th raised green, giving himself the chance for a birdie. Downhill putt remains. This is the length of putt that was giving Montgomerie more than a little trouble in the Swiss Alps last week. But he's looked very solid on them this time round. They're good greens here at Saint Nom, and Montgomerie, I think, has confidence in them. He's been knocking those in all week long. Now Michael Jonsson has not looked back really since his tied second finish with Sam Torrance behind Scott Hoke in Hilversum in the Heineken Dutch Open. That's given him great confidence at a top 10 finish the following week at Baselbeck in the Volvo Scandinavian Masters, and he's on the leaderboard alongside Bernhard Langer. But Colin Montgomerie still leads by 2 from Sam Torrance. Tom Lehman in 3rd place. Bernhard Langer enjoying his Sunday afternoon on the outskirts of Paris. Final round of the Trophée Lancôme. Langer 6 shots off the lead, but having a very steady weekend, yet to drop a shot so far over the last 2 rounds. Par 5 16th, although it's not wind behind, it's a little bit against. I think still just about reachable in 2. A few players still using the Persimmon head. With a bunker up the right hand side to be avoided at 263 yards, and that's quite steeply uphill to the raised green. There's David Guilford. Playing just in front of Langer. What a beauty. Second from Rocker to 15. Of course, David Guilford, that was his second to 15. They played just behind Bernhard Langer. And a little bit of a lucky kick for Costantino Rocca. I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but is this going in? Oh, well, I've got it surrounded. And Rocca nearly came in through the side door. He's made more birdies than most this year. Now to 16, and it's Michael Jonsson to get himself into 4th place for Eagle at 16. I know you like to hear how everybody's done, so over the course of the next 20 minutes we'll bring you up to date with those that have finished their round. First out this morning, Andre Bossart, 74, Barry Lane, 68, Jarmo Sandlin, 70, and Jamie Spence with a 69, Derek Cooper, 70, Mark Little, 71. Johnson to 6 under. Peter Baker had a 69, Stuart Sink a 73, and the amateur Raphael Ayrault a 73. Good performance from the Frenchman. Birdie for Guilford, and this is turning into rather a special round. That's 2 in a row. He was out in 32, picked up a shot at the 12th as well. Putt for Tom Lehman, didn't lay it off enough to the right. Paul Maloney a 69, Lee Westwood a 79, Peter Mitchell 73, Paul Eales 72, Matt Slanner a 67, ended with a bogey, the joint course record holder, Mark Mouland 72. Rocker gets his lucky bounce and makes the most of it, and rolls in the birdie putt at 15. 2 under. Just continuing in those scores. Good 3-ball this one. Eduardo Romero, former winner, a 67. Paul Affleck, 69. And Richard Boxall, a 66. Oliver Carson had a 68. Des Smith, a 70. And Ian Pyman, a 74 to go with his 3rd round 80. Rather a painful weekend, a learning experience, if you want to be positive for the young Yorkshireman. Mike McLean, a 75. Nicholas Fast, 72. Ignacio Garrido, 73. Miguel Angel Jimenez, 72. Gary Orr, 69. Pedro Linhart, 72. And of course, Mike Clayton, a 63. And this is one of the few holes that he didn't birdie on the way home. 14. Downhill drive, tree lined. Bunker on the left doesn't really come into play. It's landing down here. You need to be on the right hand side of the fairway to open up the hole, and it's quite steeply uphill. Bunkers left and right, and the pin today 14 yards on. Left side, 4 paces from the left hand side, and if you hit it left of the pin it will roll towards the hole. But this is an awful shot for Colin Montgomerie. He just seems to have lost that finesse perhaps from tee through the green. He's missed a few fairways today, and this he's got to try and draw this one. It's not his natural shot, but no doubt it's in the armoury somewhere. Get it chasing up.
Just stand now, thanks.
Doesn't look to be lying too badly. You see quite a straight face club, must be a 4-iron. Good contact. A steep rise up to the green, didn't quite get up there. Yet to birdie this hole. It's not one of the easiest holes on the course by any means. 467 yards long, or almost long enough to be a par 5.
Oh, I've hit a shot.
I think he likes it. I've hit a shot, he says. And he has. Beauty. Sam Torrance, can he put the pressure onto Colin Montgomerie? 3 pars so far here this week. Well, he can. That's a beauty. David Guilford on the 16th tee. Straight down the middle. And this is encouraging viewing, no doubt, for Bernard Gallagher. Bernard Langer's second. He needed a long iron to get home yesterday. Now he's got the fairway wood out. 2 mighty blows from Langer. He's not always reckoned to be one of the longest hitters, but when he needs it, he can certainly turn on the power. Colin Montgomerie then, short of the 14th green in 2. Sam Torrance with a real birdie opportunity. Could be even tighter soon in the Trophée Lancôme. We'll be back after the break. Don't go away. See you then here on Eurosport. Severiano Ballesteros for a birdie at 17, final round of the 26th Trophée Lancôme. His form well encouraging, certainly after recent weeks. That's obviously good news for Europe. Be playing with Oliver Tharball, the most formidable partnership in match play golf. Pair of them already winners in Paris this year in the Perrier pairs at St. Cloud. 16, but probably not too happy with that. He's almost on. Now look back from behind 15. Tom Lehman behind the branches. Yes, it is. Touch left off the tee. That hat, by the way, I'm going to view it. That's the Cleveland Indians. Must I tell you, baseball team, and he's not really a fan. He was playing in the World Series at Akron. Needed a hat, and that was the most convenient to get a hold of. Apparently, a very good baseball team. Reading in the football world, I guess. Almost unbeatable. Well, AC Black maybe. Tom Lehman says, well, he'd like to be as consistently good in his game golf as the Cleveland Indians are in their game baseball. Around 170 to the front of the green. Short of 190 yards in all. Chased it on, couldn't take 2 straight a club. It's probably the best he could do. Now at 14, Sam Torrance for a birdie. Trying to swing on this one. That's 2 in a row. Suffering. He's having his chances. You can see the frustration showing. You can understand why. If he doesn't catch Colin Montgomerie, he's going to be well clear at the top of the order of merit, maybe almost out of reach. This was Montgomerie's chip. He came out of the left-hand rough. Just seems to have one of those testing ones again. For Oliver Tharball. So maybe a few words of advice and confidence building from Bernhard Langer on the way round. But Jose Maria is playing that badly. He played very well recently in America. Got to be convinced in his own mind that he can contribute. eagle here on Friday.
Coin's about right. Don't see it moving big. Dead weight to touch more.
One of the most fiercely sloping greens at San Nom. It's a straightish putt. Very different than that. So a birdie again for Langer. Now Montgomerie to save his par at 14. And again, nicely hold, and Torrance hold, and Monty miss. We could have been all square as it is. The 2-shot lead is still intact. Will yet to record a single birdie on this 16th. Maybe it's because he tars towards the end of the round. 3-5 so far. Full house. Still hobbling. They must put a little bit of pressure on the bat, but I'm not sure it's getting any worse. He was walking like that on the putting green when he was limbering up this morning. Talking to his manager, Sergio, and I think his mother was here as well. It'll be a birdie for Broadhurst, 4 out of 4 for the Englishman, the French Open champion. Seve at 17 for par. Odd looking putter. It's a beautiful putting stroke. Seve 1 under. Splits the fairway at 15. See how it comes round the side of the hill. Quickly 1 or 2 other scores. Thomas Levey 71, John van der Velde 74, Roger Vessels 67, Robert Carson's in with 69, Silvio Gampasoni at 68, Christian Savard 67, Jose Rivero 67, Rick Coulthard will be a Dunhill Cup member with Montgomerie at St Andrews at 71. 4 they call, but that's just about okay up the right hand side. It looks as if it's going into rough, but don't be fooled. Might be just in the first cut, but that's not a bad way to come in from. Greg Turner in with a 65, Roger Davis a 74, Ian Woos number 69 was out in level par, 4 birdies, 4 bogeys to the turn. Tom Lehman bunkered it off the tee at 15, and he comes, the pin 24 paces on, just falls away behind the hole. He had to be short. Colin Montgomerie then, right side of 15, still 2 shots ahead of Sam Torrance. Tom Lehman's got his work cut out to save par at 15. Bernhard Langer on the 17th tee, coming off a birdie at 16, and Langer's enjoying his Sunday at San Nom La Proteste, final round here on Eurosport of the 26th Trophée Lancôme. Langer 4 under for the day. 17th hole, 422 yards, dogleg from left to right. There's a bunker at the right hand side, I guess the ideal shot is starting it up the left with a little bit of fade. Unless you're exceptionally long, you can draw it perhaps over the line of that bunker. I think that's, body language says that's gone, well, it's gone way right. There's a bunker we were talking about, and he needed to get that drawing, and he's pushed it into the trees, and just a question of how far in. Tharball. Three over for the day. A little bit of pressure on that right foot as he hobbles away, but it didn't seem to affect the swing. It wasn't the foot action that dragged that left. Got over the top of it and into the trees, and that's quite easy to do. Now David Guilford with the 3-wood, middle 3-wood. Second shot to 16. Nicely on, quite a long way from the pin obviously, but well, if he could post a good score in the clubhouse, might just sneak up on Torrance and Montgomerie while they're looking after each other. Now Lehman at 15 to save his par. This is the one consolation, it's uphill, he can have quite a run at this. Not the time to be making bogeys. Back nine on a Sunday afternoon. Did well enough on the front nine to get himself in with a little bit of a chance. Third in the US Open, of course. Now Seve at 18. It's they're not off the very back tee, but it's a fiendish pin position, as you'll see in a moment. Probably a 4 or a 5 iron for Seve. And a sensible shot as well, left side of the pin. You can just see it's over that bunker, and just to the left of your picture, the water cuts in. And we've seen one or two earlier this morning come to a wet finish. There it is. And the view up the hill. Guilford for an eagle at 16. Not bad at all, and that will be a second birdie in a row, so Guilford moving up through the ranks in his own quiet, undemonstrative way. Setback for Janssen. This one is now downhill for Lehman. This is for bogey 5 at 15. That's why he's having a good look at it. You see currently in third place, and he's going to drop into a tie. Well, in fact, I think he's going to drop under David Guilford. Guilford surely will make birdie. It's at 16 as a hole behind. Lehman drops at least one shot. So at the moment, tied third. This is 15. You see the hill on the right, lovely mansion, just a little bit further up the hill. Those bunkers, right side 213, left 226, don't come into play really for these players. And they'll be driving just to, you see Montgomerie short of the ridge. Doesn't want to go past the pin. In fact, he's not even on the green left side, and quite an awkward chip. He just had a medium iron up the pin today. He's 24 paces on, 6 from the left-hand side, and just behind the pin and to the left of it falls away. So at least actually Montgomerie has got an uphill. Third shot. Now it's Torrance second.
No.
The hand came off very quickly. That's gone left. And into sand, and perhaps just as well, because had he missed the bunker, could have been way down the slope and in real trouble. Wayne Riley, by the way, made his birdie at 14. And Rocker, another Ryder Cup man in pretty good form. Riley every chance of going birdie. Looking over Ryder Cup men, it's been a good weekend for Mark James. A 67 yesterday, he's added a 68 today. Playing with Jay Townsend, who had a 72, and Alexander Chaker, who wrote off his Porsche on a Monday and recovered in a last round 70. 67 for Peter Heblom and Matthias Gromberg, last week's winner, continuing his good form. A 73 for Mark Farry. Now here's Langer in the trees. Remember, his drive went right off the tee. Just a question, can he see a gap? Oh, he's deep in. He need to see one or two gaps. My colleague Jan Ebinger this morning was telling me how he once saw one of the best shots he's ever seen from Langer on this course. I think it was on 15, left off the tee, right in the middle of the trees, and he threaded a 4-iron through the narrowest of gaps to within feet of the pin. Fantastic shot. Can he do it again here at 17? And leading the club place, and he just punched up and got that seaside shot. Running and running, and I'll tell you what, that's a very, very good result. Long way from the pin, but miraculous to get onto the putting surface. Now here's the defending champion, Vijay Singh. Looking to finish with a flourish and a little bit bold. Seeing rounds of 70, 71, 69, never really been in contention. We go back to 15 and a reasonably straightforward bunker shot for Sam Torrance. It's uphill to the pin. And he's played that well. It was trying to almost roll back to him. Singh for a 71. That's the story of VJ's round bit ugly. The opening holes of the back nine. We saw one miraculous shot from the right-hand side from Bernhard Langer from the left, Jose Maria Olazabal, and that's a good effort. He really couldn't get it. He was too close to the tree to get enough club on to get it chasing onto the green. say there's no easy winning in golf, and certainly Colin Montgomerie has had to work hard today. The magic of recent weeks not quite there. Peter O'Malley's had a 68 today. Malcolm Mackenzie is 70. Jose Caceres a 66. This is Seve Ballesteros at 18 for a round of 68. Rather prodded that, and it was online. So a 69, 67, 73, 70, 69 for Seve. And nice to see that charismatic smile again. Wayne Rani for birdie at 15 for 2 in a row. How quick it was past the hole. Tricky pin placing. Doug Martin of America is 67. He's down in 32. Carl Mason, who finished by hitting his tee shot out of bounds at 18 yesterday, running up a 670 today. And David J. Russell a 68. Encouraging week for DJ. Up and down, sand save for Sam Torrance. Now he'll be looking for a repeat of yesterday's eagle at 16. Here's Lehman just avoiding the bunker. So got over 200 yards and a bit to go, and not quite making it. Rain starting to come down a little heavier. Gordon Brown Jr. at 72. Wim Rojan from Norway, who we saw earlier. Drop shots coming home, and ended with a 69, but he ended 1 under. More than respectable, and his 69 matched by playing partner Darren Clark. David Carter, a 70 playing with Seve and Vijay Singh, and a par at 15 for Colin Montgomerie. 3 holes to go, and the lead is still 2. Sam Torrance finished strongly yesterday. Can he do it again? David Guilford going very well, up into 3rd place, and the Englishman, well, if he could go and post a total in the clubhouse, it would put some pressure on Montgomerie and Torrance. Tom Lehman's chances perhaps vanishing with that bogey at 15. See the 65 from Greg Turner, and the 63, the round of the day, from Mike Clayton. A bogey at the last, or he would have won himself a Rolex gold watch. Seve's had a solid week, something to build on, and that's encouraging. Bernhard Langer for what would be an unlikely birdie at 17, having driven into the trees. Miraculous recovery. I think he'd probably settle for par. A good touch on what was a very long putt. Colin Montgomerie leads still by 2 with 3 holes to play. Here he is on the 16th tee. Almost there for his 2nd win in 3 weeks. But his driving hasn't been quite as reliable as of late today, but nothing wrong with that one. Perfect. And the rain, which was forecast to be heavy, is mostly held off. Falling steadily now. Constantino Rocca. Into 17. Bernhard Langer, I can tell you, did make his par, and just recorded a little earlier. Montgomerie on the Tharball. Also par at 17. Just signs that maybe that foot gives him a little bit more trouble towards the end of a round. Now Marco Jonsson, the young Swede, at 18. That's for a birdie 2 and for a round of 65. A 66 will do. He started with a 72, then a 67, a third round 70, and Jonsson a 66 to close. Good performance. Tom Lehman, third shot at 16. Close enough to surely give him a birdie. Lehman, of course, who will be in the United States Ryder Cup side, one of 5 rookies in Annie Watkins' team at Okio in a couple of weeks' time. And we'll, in a moment, give you details of our highlights coverage on the Monday after the Ryder Cup, 4 hours of it. So let's watch Jonsson tap in for his 66. You can see just that one blot, that bogey where he rushed his putt for par a little bit too hard while coming home, and having started with a bogey at the second. Second shot of David Guilford at 17. And he's on a roll and pin high again. Let me first of all tell you about our British Masters coverage from Collingtree next week on Saturday. An hour and a half from 10:30 to midnight Central European time. That's 9:30 to 11 UK and Ireland. And Sunday 9:30 to 11:30 Central European time. Of course, an hour earlier. Stephen Richardson, last week or two, he's looked as if he's on his way back to the form that carried him into the Ryder Cup side at Keir Island. A bit aggressive though. Monday 25th of September, that's our Ryder Cup day, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Central European time. Highlights of the first 2 days, the foursomes and 4-ball series, and then at 11 o'clock through to 1, the highlights of the final day of singles. Should be some scintillating goals, so don't miss that. I will remind you again next week. And 18, there is a Toyota RAV. I think it's a roving adventure vehicle that stands for, on offer for a hole-in-one. Stephen Richardson came very close yesterday, just a few inches away, but I think they're taking too many chances with today's pin placing. Them needing a birdie for a 65. It's probably a way to the left-hand side as you stay on that tee. The temptation to hit it there is very strong indeed. Worst, you can go into the sand. And these players would always reckon their chances of getting up and down. Paul Broadhurst has played quite nicely today. 2 under. I say playing nicely. In fact, probably you would disagree with that. First 8 holes, you have 4 birdies and 4 bogeys, so it's been a little bit in and out. Back to 16. Richardson charged his eagle putt past. He paid the price. Only a par. And for a man of Richardson's strength, that really is a shot dropped. Had an eagle at the 8th, no birdies so far, dropped shots at the 1st and 3rd. And at the side of 16th, the leaderboard telling us that Montgomerie, middle of the fairway, waiting to play his 2nd. Pace of play for the final 3 ball a little slow. Tom Lehman to close within 3 shots of Montgomerie, perhaps more significantly within 1 shot of Sam Torrance. A 6-year-old based in Scottsdale, Arizona, which if you're a golfer, let me tell you, it's a pretty wonderful place to be based. Play every day of the year in wonderful conditions. And dozens and dozens of superb golf courses to... Well, he's an entertainer, is Wayne Riley. Fairway wood at 16 out of the bunker. Oh, he's caught that beautifully. Wonderful shot. Although he is not. Sam Torrance carries a 7 wood, which got him home yesterday. I'm not sure if this is the 7 this time. It's a little bit longer into the wind. It's gone left. Took on the pin, was trying to draw it in as close as he could. Figured he needed an eagle. Now go for birdie at 17. Yes, that's 3 in a row for David Guilford. And he goes to 9 under, sharing 2nd place with Sam Torrance. And if he can make it 2 at the last, well, who knows, because I think Colin Montgomerie has gone left with his 2nd, way left. And in behind the advertising sign, you can see how the pin is cut, the left side as well. Difficult to get close on where Montgomerie has finished. He may get a drop, depends if I don't think that's a movable sign. Looks rather heavy and rather secure in the ground there, so he may get a drop. On a foul ball. Final tee shot, safe enough. All 3 on the green, and decision time approaches. He says he can't play 36 a day. Let's hope that he can play 18. Looks to be moving fairly well, but as I say, midday at Wentworth Monday is where the announcement, we're told, will be made. Looking good for the European Ryder Cup side in terms of form at the moment. Montgomerie there with Guilford in 2nd place, sharing with Torrance, and 4 of the European team in the top 5 places, but as ever there's an American there. 2 Scotsmen and an Englishman. Paul Broadhurst for a birdie in a round of 67. French Open champion, took the title Golf Le National with a superb 63, record-breaking final round, one of the rounds of the year so far on the Volvo Tour. Pretty steadily this time as well, a couple of 69s and then a 70. And best at a 68 to finish. Going back to basics, starting with the Italian Open, where he got a share of 3rd place, and seems to have paid dividends for Broadhurst, who played pretty well in the Ryder Cup '91 at Kiwa Island, but last 18 months or so prior to that revival was a little bit out in the cold. Now Langer for a 65. When he lines up, bringing you results from the Perrier European Pro-Am Challenge Tour event at the Waterloo Club in Belgium, And Diego Borrego's won that with a final round 63 to still pass Jonathan Lomas, who was 1 shot behind in second place at 8 under. Miguel Angel Martin sharing third place with Carlos Lorraine of Venezuela, who had a 63. 3 Swedes sharing fifth: Per Nyman, Ove Selberg, Daniel Chopra, and sharing 6. Stephen Field, Ian Garbutt, and Andrew Murray, that's where he was, and Vanslo Phillips. So 1 or 2 of the tall players didn't get into this event, which is a little bit selective. You've got to be in the top 102 order of merit, and trying their luck and enjoying themselves in the Pro-Am format in Belgium. Langer then, it looks like a 66. And Sam Torrance third shot, pulled his second at 16. See, that was so close to being a good shot. Another foot or 2 on would have kicked forward, and you can see how frustrating it is. The man cannot be trying harder. Incidentally, John Louis Gepi finished with a 72 and Michael Campbell was 71. They were playing in the match ahead of this with Michael Jonsson. It's not a bad lie for Colin Montgomerie. The rough trampled down by spectators, and quite dry, sheltered by the board. Oh dear, but he needed to get it in a little higher to stop it below the pin. Or above the pin. He's got an uphill putt. Montgomerie, who had an eagle here on Thursday. David Guilford waits. Intimidating shot though. Does he go for broke? Does he go for the 2? And a par to finish for Olazabal, but a round of 73. Not really what the doctor ordered, just the 1 birdie, and a little bit like hard work on the way home. But his form is perhaps not the prime concern, his fitness is. This was Sam Torrance at third at 16. You can see it was lying down. Took the club back very steeply. Chopped it forward. Just a question of where it lands. It wasn't quite in the right place. A foot or 2 forward would have been very close. And a 66 for Bernhard Langer, the most productive weekend. Had a 69 yesterday, a 66, not a single bogey on the card during 36 holes of golf, and that's the kind of consistency that you expect from Bernhard Langer, returning at almost exactly the right time. And for Paul Broadhurst, a 68. And just look at those first 8 holes, 4 birdies, 4 bogeys, and a good strong finish with 3 birdies in a row to 17. Well, does Guilford gamble? He doesn't strike you as the sort that probably is inclined to. That's certainly the percentage shot. He's one of the best managers of a golf ball, manoeuvres of a golf ball around a golf course. And that was the sensible shot. Alistair McLean trying to knock it in with his hips almost, and it's only a par for Montgomerie. He's still 1 over for the day, still 2 ahead, but a chance for Sam Torrance to halve the gap. First time that Monty's failed to pick up a shot at 16. Eagle on Thursday, then birdies the next 2 days. So you feel that Sam has to make this. Swing. Good pace. Good pace. Oh. Well, how many of those has he had today? Must be starting to think, well, it's not going to be my day, because certainly 3 of the last 4 or 5 holes he's knocked it so close, and any one of them might have dropped had it been his day. But as it is, the gap is still 2, and he shares second place now with David Guilford. It was the reaction. Steely stare and, well, more disappointment than annoyance. And Wayne Riley. For an eagle after that superb bunker shot. Remember, it was a wood out of the sand. It was a brave shot, and look at the reward he's got. Oh. Riley, and he missed a birdie chance at 15, didn't he? But having dropped back to 2 under, Riley is back in the top 10 once again. Montgomerie, though, with 2 to play, leads by 2 from Guilford, who's safely on the 18th green, but some way from the pin. Sam Torrance failing to make a birdie at 16, and Tom Lehman challenging for second place still. And Rocker had the right line, maybe half a club more. Vicente Fernandez talked to him on the putting green before his round, and turns 50 next April. I said, what are you going to do, Vicente? He said, well, he won't be going to the US seniors qualifying school, but he will try and qualify for a few tournaments over there next year and make his way. But he says he will divide his time between the States and the European Tour. Oh, suffering. Began at 3 under. And 2 over for the day. I had a chance to get one of them back. But a very popular figure with his fellow pros in Europe. Tom Lehman is target surely second place, and he needs to make this one. Guilford is for a round of 62. This to equal the course record, of course. And it will be a last 6, last 3 count back for the Rolex Gold Watch, but Jean-Louis Guepi can breathe a sigh of relief, because it will be 63 for Guilford. Going to equal the round of the day from Mike Clayton, mind you. Didn't have the happiest of times at Kiel Island, of course, but hopefully will contribute at Oak Hill. Sure he will. Rocco, who's been a runner-up so many times this year, currently third in the Volvo Order of Merit, so certainly a lucrative season, and he's won almost £500,000 so far this year. This is for a 68. Nudge off the ball mark, but it will be a 69. 4 steady rounds, a couple of 70s, and then a 68 and a 69 to close. This hole should suit Colin Montgomerie, left to right. Looks just about the ideal shot up the left-hand side. A bit of draw back into the middle. No worries. You can see that bunker on 17. If you hit it far enough and you fancy taking that bunker on, that's not really the problem. That could be cleared. It's 216 carry. It's the 250-yard carry over the tree. Get that, and you just got a wedge or so into the green, but most players will be a little bit further back, playing to the elbow. And the pin today, 21 paces on, 7 from the right side. And really, that's all he has to do, you feel. Just plonk it on the middle of the green. David Guilford, though, finishes with a 63. He sets the clubhouse target at 9 under. An excellent round. It all started with a bogey at the first. But Guilford rounds as 70, 71, 67, and at 63. So it's been a wonderful weekend for the quiet Midlander. Now, Wayne Riley's second shot at 17. Remember yesterday? All right at the pin again. He really is on a run at the moment. Got a rebound off a spectator back to about that distance and made the putt for birdie yesterday. Sam Torrance longest of all off the tee. Maybe a 7 or a 6 iron. It may actually be an 8. It was a long way off the tee. It's an act of resignation almost. Just wanted that one to be right at the pin, and it span back, looking good for Colin Montgomerie. And Rocker finishes with a 69. Good back half, not the best of starts, but solid homeward half. There's Wayne Riley.
Yeah.
Well, he's had, this was yesterday, he had I think probably a 7 iron, 151 yards. Got a flyer.
Didn't see it.
And just watch this if you didn't see it before. Straight over the green, heading for the bushes, and spectator didn't see it, straight into the mid-drift. He's still standing. It could have been a lot worse, a little lower, a little higher. Probably into the softest part, and Riley said, join me in the clubhouse for a beer. He then rolled in the putt, and there he was off to give him a kiss, and someone suggested the line that he kissed him and he turned into a frog, but I would never say that. Somehow you can't imagine David Guilford reacting like that. He's still looking for him just to check if he's there today. Lehman at 18. Good shot. See, the green's very receptive, not running through, and that the safe shot. This is the way the 18th played. No holes in one, obviously, although Stephen Richardson was very close. Only 31 birdies. And if you're right, you're in big trouble. Stephen Richardson came so close yesterday. If you go right, you're in the water. So a remarkable par from Andre Bossart this morning, where he actually missed the green on the right, not into the water, onto the island, which is the dropping zone, and pitched and one putted, saved his par. And that's solid from Colin Montgomerie, really probably all he has to do at the moment. So now Sam Torrance really has to make his birdie. And well, if he can't win, wants to somehow come second on his own to keep within sight of Colin Montgomerie. Difference between first and second prize, £33,000. So the gap will be over £60,000 between first and second. Torrance may have other ideas though. Made birdie here on Friday and Saturday. For once he leaves it short. Would he's been shaving the hole previously, but that one just a little timid in the end. And Sam Torrance now needs a birdie at the last to gain outright second, you feel. Colin Montgomerie, a par will be good enough. Welcome back. Final round, Trophée Lancôme. Wayne Riley for 3 birdies in a row at the 17th. He makes it all on his own today, and he's really fighting back rather well. An eagle at 16 and a birdie at 14 before. Colin Montgomerie, though, leads by 2, and they move to the 18th tee, looking down on Vicente Fernandez on the home green. Fernandez a little bit tentative with that one. I'll wait for Montgomerie. I'm sure he'd rather just get onto the tee and have it cleared ahead and just play his shot. I'm aiming for a round of 66. Big swing in this one from the right. Paul McGinley, by the way, who was playing with David Guilford and Costantino Rocca, finished with 71, finished 1 under. That's a solid week from the American. And you see the eagle at the 8th after 2 birdies, raised hopes of a charge, but 2 bogeys at 15 and 17 rather hit his hopes. And still the wait continues for Montgomerie. Doesn't give much away, does he? But you wouldn't want to upset it. That's a pity. That was for a 72. Now Fernandez, providing he knocks this in for a 73, will finish level par. It wasn't the best of starts. 3 bogeys in the first 5 holes. Stephen Richardson for 72 to finish 2 under. And Richardson also not making the best of starts. Not a single birdie. The only ray of light, that eagle 3 at the 8th. So now the final match, and of course the honour with Wayne Riley. He's a tough pin placing, but if anybody's prepared to take it on, I suspect Riley might be. Let's just have another look, and it's almost as if he's psyching himself up for this shot. It's over that bunker, water on the right. Hit it the way he wanted to, and that's into the sand, surely, down the left-hand side. A little safety valve probably came in at the end of the swing and just tweaked it left. Too far left. Now, what does Sam Torrance do? He's all sorts of scores here. It's a tough pin placing. Does he take it on? Well, I guess he's more interested in titles, is Sam, than he wants to be #1 in Europe. He's level in second place at the moment with David Guilford. You feel he has to make a birdie here, obviously for outright second, and more important than that, to put the pressure on Colin Montgomerie to ensure that Montgomerie has to make par. Will Sam gamble? A solid swing from a very experienced player, and looks good. Oh, that's very good. That's as close as we've seen today. So Torrance says, well, I can make birdie. Up to you, Monty. Here's a hole downhill. We're not off the very back tee. It's a brave shot from Torrance. Even so, on the left-hand side, he gave himself every option, but no room really at all on the right. Montgomerie, of course, made that miraculous 2 here yesterday with a putt that almost had backspin. That's gone left. That's gone left. Oh, it's long as well now. It's out of bounds down there. Now, I don't think it will get through all the crowd. That's one advantage of being one of the biggest draws in the game. You get a lot of people watching and it stops the ball. But well, maybe this tournament's not over yet. This will be the first extra playoff hole, should we need it. I don't think he was travelling that fast down into the crowd anyway. The swing really dealing in fractions, maybe just came in with the club face a little shut. We'll leave that to the real expert to sort out. It's quite a way left. So the tournament not over yet. And some anxious moments for Colin Montgomerie. He needs to get up and down for a par, and even if he does that, it will be the first round in 24 since he missed the cut at the Open that he's been over par. It might have been a glance over to Mrs. Montgomerie, just calm down. I'm in control. Lovely scene from the high camera of the clubhouse behind. That was once a farmhouse on the Versailles estate for the Sun King Louis XIV. His trees up to scratch. Sumptuous clubhouse, real elegance and style. But again, he's got a reasonably good lie where the ground's been trampled down, and quite a bit of green to work with. But I mean, that water's not far behind. Or you've got to keep the thoughts positive, and I'm sure he will. Like the lob wedge. Oh, it's very good. It's very, very good, and that may, well, I think that's a shot that will win the Trophée Lancôme for Colin Montgomerie. Fraught with danger. He played it like the world-class player that he is. #1 in Europe for the past 2 years, and looking on course to make it 3 in a row. And a bit relieved as well, I suspect. And there is Amir. There was the shot again. Lob wedge, such a handy club ready, because you can toss it up, and even though coming out of the rough it ran forward, he knew exactly what he was doing. Wayne Riley then from the sand. He's not played the par 3s at all well today, otherwise he would have been a lot closer. Should be another top 10 finish for the Aussie. Montgomerie surveys his putt, but I think it will be Torrance. No, in fact, it's going to be Riley first to play. Par for a round of 69. And for all 4 rounds in the 60s, he's had a 68. And a 69, then again a 68. Oh, did that not go in? I don't think he did anything wrong. Shucks. So it will be a 70 for Wayne Riley. He finished 5 under, and that will cost him a few bob. And had he played the par 3s better, it would have been special. Look at that, 4 4s on all the 4 par 3s. Now Sam Torrance, we talked about that bogey costing Wayne Riley some money. Well, how about this? 2nd place on his own, 66,660. 3rd place, 37,560. So this is about, at least for about 15,000 to get outright 2nd from David Guilford. But perhaps more to the point, if he makes it, it means that Colin Montgomerie has to make his, or it's a playoff. This is for a 69 for Sam. Oh, bravely done. He was walking after it. He knew. Around to 65, 67, 69 and 69 for Sam Torrance. And a fighter to the very end. Didn't really make the birdie that he wanted at 16. That might have been crucial, but well, he's done all that he can. And Colin Montgomerie, who was perhaps thinking he might have had the luxury of 2 putts from 3-4 feet for this, has to make this one now. This has been his Achilles heel in recent weeks, but this week he's looked particularly strong from this range. And again he does it into the middle, £100,000, but more important than that, an 8th tour title for Colin Montgomerie. He had to wait a year for #7. It came 2 weeks ago in the Volvo German Open, and winning becomes a habit. That's 2 in 3 weeks for Colin Montgomerie. And is there anyone in the world playing better? 64, 69, 65, and although it was his first round in 24 over par 71, only his 2nd round over 70 in those 24, it was good enough. Colin Montgomerie wins with an aggregate of 269 by 1 from Sam Torrance. Great round from David Guilford into 3rd place with a 63, and 4 of the top 5 places filled by European Ryder Cup hopefuls. So The team looking in pretty good form. Sevi Ballesteros also a better week certainly than last week. And Mark James coming through at the weekend with a couple of rounds in the 60s. The chance for you to look through and see your favourite players did perhaps. There's Mark James, 67 and a 68. Decision day then for Jose Maria Olazabal. I have a feeling that he will play. You may be able to find out on Eurosport News on Monday evening, I'm sure. But the man of the moment at Nome La Bretèche is Colin Montgomerie. He's been second before. He's won, and a deserved winner, a very strong display throughout the week. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the 26th Trophée Lancôme from Nome La Bretèche. Hope for your company next week at Coventry for rounds 3 and 4 of the Coventry British Masters. Until then, from me, Steve Beddoe, have a good week. Bye-bye.
The Volvo Tour was brought to you by Volvo.